Hi everyone, welcome to our video lesson. Today we'll learn the basics of salaries and wages and how to convert between annual, monthly, weekly, daily, and hourly pay. By the end, you'll be able to solve the example problems and try a short practice on your own. Let's start with the key definitions. Annual salary is the fixed amount an employee receives per year. It refers to an agreed and fixed amount of money the employer receives in exchange of the services rendered. The second term is wage, which is defined as a compensation received by an employee based on the number of hours worked per day. On the other hand, we define hourly rate as a specific amount of money an employee earns for exactly 1 hour of work. Here are the formulas that you will use in this lesson. First, to compute for the monthly wage, we divide our annual salary by 12. To compute for the weekly wage, we divide our annual salary by 52. To compute the daily wage given the hourly rate, we simply multiply our hourly rate by the number of hours worked, while to compute for the weekly wage, we multiply the daily wage by the number of days worked. Let's try to use those formulas in solving the following problems. For example, number 1, Ivan receives an annual salary of 150,000 pesos. How much is his salary monthly and weekly? To find the monthly salary of Ivan, we will be using the formula monthly is equal to annual salary divided by 12. From the given problem, our annual salary is 150,000 pesos. So therefore, monthly is equal to 150,000 pesos divided by 12. That gives us a result of 12,500 pesos. Hence, Ivan's monthly salary is 12,500 pesos. Now to compute for the weekly salary, we use the formula weekly is equal to annual salary divided by 52. Using the same given, we will have here weekly is equal to 150,000 divided by 52, and that gives us an approximate value of 2,884.62. Therefore, Ivan's weekly wage is 2,884 pesos and 62 cents. For our second example, Esther has an annual salary of 300,000 pesos. Find her monthly and weekly salary. Following the same procedure with example number 1, to solve for the monthly salary, we'll be using the formula monthly is equal to annual salary divided by 12. Given that the annual salary is 300,000, we will divide it by 12, giving us a result of 25,000 pesos. Therefore, her monthly salary is 25,000 pesos. To solve for the weekly salary, we divide our annual salary by 52. And by dividing 300,000 pesos by 52, we will obtain 5,769.23. Therefore, her weekly wage is 5,769 pesos and 23 centavos. Now this time, let's try to convert hourly rates to daily and weekly wages. For example, number 3, Mangwan works in a company that pays 125 pesos per hour. If he works for 8 hours a day and 5 days a week, find his daily wage and weekly wage. To solve for the daily wage given our hourly rate, we will use the formula daily wage is equal to hourly rate times the number of hours working. From our given problem, we are given that the hourly rate is 125 pesos per hour and he works for 8 hours a day and 5 days a week. Therefore, our daily wage is equal to our hourly rate, which is 125 pesos, and the number of hours working, which is 8 hours a day. That gives us a total daily wage of 1,000 pesos. Therefore, Mangwan has a daily wage of 1,000 pesos. Now to compute for our weekly wage, we will use the formula weekly wage is equal to our daily rate times the number of days working. From our first answer, our daily wage is equal to 1,000 pesos. So therefore, weekly wage is equal to 1,000 times 5 because he is working for 5 days a week. So that gives us a total weekly wage of 5,000. Therefore, Mang Juan has a total weekly wage of 5,000 pesos. For our fourth example, Jenny's hourly rate is 95 pesos. If she works for 8 hours a day and 6 days a week, find her daily and weekly wage. Following the same procedure with example number 3, we will compute our daily wage by multiplying our hourly rate by the number of hours working. From this problem, we are given that our hourly rate is 95 pesos and she works for 8 hours a day. Therefore, for our daily wage, we have 95 times 8, that gives us 760. So therefore, Jenny's daily wage is 760 pesos. Now to compute for our weekly wage, we simply multiply our daily rate times the number of days working. Given that our daily rate is 760 pesos and she works for 6 days a week, so that gives us a weekly wage of 760 times 6, which gives us a total of 4,560. So therefore, Jenny's weekly wage is 4,560 pesos. Now this time, I want you to try this out. Convert the given annual salary to monthly wage and weekly wage. You may pause the video so that you have enough time to do this. Please try this one also. Find the daily and weekly rate of an employee given the hourly rate. Assume that the employee works for 8 hours a day and 5 days a week. To summarize what we've discussed in this video, to compute for the monthly salary, we simply divide our annual salary by 12. To compute for the weekly salary, we divide our annual salary by 52. To compute for our daily wage, we multiply our hourly rate by the number of hours working. To compute for our weekly wage, we multiply our daily wage by the number of days working. Practice a few more examples to get comfortable with the steps. Thanks for watching and see you again next lesson.